What's up, people? This is Sid here, and welcome back to Chiba Koi India. Today we're doing Koi Talk. We're going to discuss what you need to know if you're buying Koi from a local shop, from a dealer, whatever it is. If you're setting up your tank for the first time, you're buying Koi second, third time around, and even if you've bought many Koi, I think this is just good basic info to go over once in a while. So first, we're just going to talk about. I've got a little notepad here, okay, just for reference. I'm going to try not to wing it and miss out on a few points that I definitely want to bring up. But so the first thing we're going to talk about is if your ecosystem is healthy, and if it can take Koi, whether it's ready for Koi. So if you've got a brand new tank setup, then what that means is the water dechlorinated? Has it cycled for a little while? Is the filter set up and is the filter primed? It can take a couple of weeks for a filter unit to get primed and for it to start building up that bacteria. And when you put fresh Koi into a fresh tank, there's going to be an explosion of ammonia and nitrites, especially depending on how many fish you're putting in, how much water. But you're going to have cloudy water and things like that, so you need to be prepared to handle that. Second thing you need to consider is how much space you have. Definitely there are people that can keep Koi in small amounts of space with water changes and heavy filtration and all of that type of stuff, but I'm going to talk about this at a hobby level because you guys at home are not going to be able to do water changes on like a farmer does on a stocking tank. Yeah, you need to. People say 3 liters for an inch or 3 gallons for an inch, and some people say 1,000 gallons for each Koi, and there are a lot of metrics that people go into, but I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of generalization so you'll have a reference point for our country. And I think that's 3,000 liters. You need a minimum of 3,000 liters if you want a fish to be able to grow to its, obviously not its full potential, but at least grow at a healthy rate and not have deformities in the bodies and things like that. And in a 3,000 liter Koi pond, I'd suggest maybe 10 Koi, 8 or 10 Koi. That way they have enough space, enough room, and they can grow. Also, you have less chances of having oxygen depletion and things like that overnight. I'm just going to give these crows some food to kind of get them to shut up because they've been begging a lot. So hold on just a second. I've been bribing the crows to shut up nowadays. You guys can watch the Koi till then. So yeah, it's not working, but who knows, maybe we'll be able to train some crows in the process of these videos. But yeah, we were talking about whether you have enough space. So 3,000 liters, 8 or 10 fish, bring them home at 5 or 6 inches is a good size, maybe 8 or 10. 8 or 10 is they're rough and tough and they can handle a little bit more at that age, at that size. Smaller fish are a little delicate. They also don't respond very well to temperature changes and things like that. If you do have a small pond, you need to make sure you should have a heater around, and you should stay on top of that water. An average size that I'd say that you should go for is maybe 10,000 liters, and in a 10,000 liter pond, I'd say you can keep about 25 koi, 20, 25 koi, and that's pushing it. If you're going for bloodlines that really grow or high quality koi, then I'd say 10 or 12 is a good number in 10,000 liters. 10,000 liters, 3,000 gallons for everybody that's talking to us from, I mean, watching us from abroad. The reason I say this is because I know people can keep a lot more koi than that, but if you've got 10 or 12 in 3,000 gallons or 10,000 liters, then you've got enough space for those fish to kind of grow. It's going to be a lot easier for you to maintain your water instead of you can get away with hobby grade filtration systems and you don't have to start going all pro on it. Looks like we're gonna have a little bit of rain. I thought we were gonna have a nice sunny day. So the next point that we're gonna talk about is the equipment. You're gonna need a whole range of equipment depending on how you're doing this. Like we've already talked about quarantine tanks. You're gonna need some basic meds to treat things that these new fish might come with. Salt, Generalade, methylene blue, and Bactonil, maybe Paracetamol are a good set of you to keep around. They kind of take care of the full spectrum. If and when you need to deal with it, you definitely need a tub, you need a net, you need separate net for the pond and the fish in your quarantine for sure. Spare aerator, spare pump. I'd even say keep a little bit of beneficial bacteria supplement because when you put in that the new fish into the pond, there's definitely going to be changes in your parameters, so just so that you can kind of counter things. Next is the fun bit. Yeah, what are you going to buy? So what's your budget? What size of the fish that you want to get? What quality, what variety, how many? These are all things that you kind of want to think of. You could be buying from your local shop, you could be buying from your local dealer, or you could be buying high price koi from a reputed dealer. So definitely consider your options. I think if you're a hobbyist, then you can kind of get away with just going to your local dealer or your local shop. And if you've got a small tank, definitely your local shop is the best bet. You don't want to you want to get something inexpensive. And if you hunt in local shops enough and you know your varieties, you can get some good deals on some really cheap koi. Okay. So you need to think about what size you want them at. You'll get a good deal on fish that are under 5 inches and 3 to 5 inches and things like that, but they're a little delicate. They're not as hardy as maybe an 8 or 10 inch fish. You want to think about what quality you want. If you've got a tiny pond with a low quality of filtration, or obviously you want to make sure that you don't go for expensive fish then, or nothing too big and not too many. If you've got a big pond with good filtration, then the world is your oyster. No, you can go for anything you think of. Just think about what you're buying. Think about what you're paying. I know some fish, when you start going up the quality spectrum, the price of the fish start increasing rapidly. Think about whether you want to get into that. That's something. Obviously, you don't want to be putting fish that are worth more than the tank into the tank. So unless you've got a fully constructed pond with set up filtration, you're not going to go and look for original Japanese koi. So that's kind of that. Just be careful. Buy it in two portions, maybe twice apart or something like that. But don't buy too many fish in one go. Don't get excited by a whole bunch of cheap fish and pick up 40 fish because you're not gonna be able to deal with them. And as much as people think that I'll just sell off fish or even give away fish, it's not easy to find other people with ponds to just give it away to, and quite often they're interstate or out of town, and you may not have the facilities to pack and ship fish. Next, we're going to talk about the varieties. The variety is the fun part. Just try and you just have fun with it. There's no set of rules. on the variety of fish that you buy. Just kind of get what you enjoy. That's all I can say, that's the important part. And then there's a couple of things that you need to keep your eyes wide open for. Yeah. And that is the health of the fish that you're buying. Yeah. You need to make sure that you're buying a healthy fish. There's a lot of factors that you can kind of spot in the tank or in the ponds that you're buying from at the dealer's place. If it's like the the things that you want to know are whether this fish is male, it's female, whether it has the right body shape. You don't want dropsy, you don't want bloated bellies, you don't want clamped fins, you don't want red veins, you don't want inflamed bodies, inflamed fins. You keep your eyes open for fungal infections, energy levels, Popeye parasites. There's so many parasites you can see straight off the tank. Trichodina, anchorworm. Um, keep your eyes open. Uh, the few things that I have mentioned right now are all things that you can see off the get-go. Um, be very careful of fish that are lethargic. Okay. Um, there's be very careful for CEVD, KHV, sleeping disease as they call it here, or and you know carp pox. You want to be careful that you don't bring in something absolutely horrendous into your pond, or if you're going through a reputed dealer or if you're going through a fish farm, you can speak to them about this, and if they're any good, they'll kind of help you out and let you know what is and what isn't on their fish. Um, we're going to do a separate video on all of the separate diseases and how we kind of treat them. So stay tuned for that information. All I can say is pace yourself out. You're about to bring some beautiful fish and set up your beautiful pond. It's really easy to get excited and kind of, make an impulse purchase, but don't do that. Look over the factors that we've just discussed. Um, and yeah, I hope you enjoy these fish that you're bringing home. So, before we sign out, let's take a quick view and a quick update on the koi that arrived. The two that took the worst damage during transport are actually the two kohakus that you see on the top there. They're both recovering well from their ordeal. Their ammonia burn and their red skin has gone down. They're still swimming a little low energy. As you can see, the rest of the fish are all active. All of the fish that have arrived are eating, apart from one of the kohakus that's apparently a little more stressed than the rest of them. Their red fins have kind of settled down, although there is a little bit of tear, unfortunately, but I'll be treating them. I'll be taking care of that. So yeah, there's that beautiful Tancho, the Benny, the Showa that just arrived, my Shisui, my beautiful Shisui. But yeah, water's looking good. Certified babies are growing fast, I'd say. Let's give them a feeding. Yeah. Okay, looks like we gotta move the camera a little bit. So yeah, thanks for joining us today. Again, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, people.